Hey, good morning, y'all. I guess it's afternoon. It's afternoon, literally. Um, we're in Numbers chapter 14, and I appreciate you bearing with me as I feel like I'm behind. I've been so busy. We're speaking on Israel's rebellion, and this can also be found in Deuteronomy 1:26 through 33. Holy Spirit, we invite you into this word. Ruach HaKodesh, I pray you would speak through me. This is about you, Lord. I just pray that I am able to give you all the glory, and I say this in Yeshua's name. Then the whole congregation lifted up their voices and cried out, and that night the people wept. All the Israelites grumbled against Moses and Aaron, and the whole congregation said to them, "If only we had died in the land of Egypt, or if only we had died in this wilderness. Why is the Lord bringing us into this land to fall by the sword? Our wives and children will become plunder. Would it not be better for us to go back to Egypt?" This reminds me of people today grumbling like this. So they said to one another, "Let us appoint a leader and return to Egypt." Then Moses and Aaron fell face down before the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel. Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had spied out the land, tore their clothes and said to the whole congregation of Israel, "The land we passed through and explored is an exceedingly good land. If the Lord delights in us, he will bring us into this land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and he will give it to us. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not be afraid of the people of the land, for they will be like bread for us. Their protection has been removed, and the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid of them." Remember, they were giants in the land. They were the Anunnakis. They were Nephilim. They were huge. But the whole congregation threatened to stone Joshua and Caleb. Then the glory of the Lord appeared to all the Israelites at the tent of meeting, and the Lord said to Moses, "How long will this people treat me with contempt? How long will they refuse to believe in me, despite all the signs I have performed among them? I will strike them with a plague and destroy them, and I will make you into a nation greater and mightier than they are." So Moses intercedes for Israel. But Moses said to the Lord, he had to calm the Lord down. Can you imagine? "The Egyptians will hear of it, for by your strength you brought this people from among them, and they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land. They have already heard that you, O Lord, are in the midst of this people, and that you, O Lord, have been seen face to face, that your cloud stands over them, and that you go before them in a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. If you kill this people as one man, the nations who have heard of your fame will say, 'Because the Lord was unable to bring this people into the land he swore to give them, he has slaughtered them in the wilderness.' So now I pray, may the power of the Lord be magnified, just as you have declared. The Lord is slow to anger and abounding in loving and devotion, forgiving iniquity and transgression. Yet he will by no means leave the guilty unpunished. He will visit the iniquity of the fathers upon their children to the third and fourth generation. Pardon, I pray, the iniquity of this people, in keeping with the greatness of your loving devotion, just as you have forgiven them ever since they left Egypt." And they were a grumbling group of people that complained and thought they deserved better. So this goes way back. God's forgiveness and judgment, Deuteronomy 1:34 through 40. "I have pardoned them as you requested," the Lord replied. "Yet, as surely as I live, and as surely as the whole earth is filled with the glory of the Lord, not one of the men who have seen my glory and the signs that I performed in Egypt and in the wilderness, yet have tested me and disobeyed me these 10 times, not once, 10. Not one will ever see the land that I swore to give to their fathers. None of these who have treated me with contempt will see it." Are we listening, people? Are we listening? "But because my servant Caleb has a different spirit and he has followed me wholeheartedly, I will bring him into the land that he has entered. and his descendants will inherit it. Now, since the Amalekites and the Canaanites are living in the valleys, turn back tomorrow and head for the wilderness along the route to the Red Sea. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, how long will this wicked generation grumble against me? So God does not handle the grumbling very well. I have heard the complaints that the Israelites are making against me, so tell them, as surely as I live, declares the Lord, I will do to you exactly as I heard you say. Your bodies will fall in the wilderness. All who were numbered in the census, every one 20 years of age or older, because you have grumbled against me. Surely none of you will enter the land in which I swore to settle you, except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, son of Nun. But I will bring your children, whom you said would become plunder, into the land you have rejected, and they will enjoy it. As for you, however, your bodies will fall in this wilderness. Your children will be shepherds in the wilderness for 40 years, and they will suffer for your unfaithfulness until the last of your bodies lies in the wilderness. In keeping with the 40 days you spied out the land, you shall bear your guilt for 40 years, a year for each day, and you will experience my alienation. I, the Lord, have spoken, and I will surely do these things to this entire wicked congregation, which has conspired against me. They will meet their end in the wilderness, and there they will die. The plague on the 10 spies. So the men Moses had sent to spy out the land, who had returned and made the whole congregation grumble against him by bringing out a bad report about the land. Those men who had brought out the bad report about the land were struck down by a plague before the Lord. Of those men who had gone to spy out the land, only Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, remained alive. And when Moses relayed these words to all the Israelites, the people mourned bitterly. The defeat of Hormah, Deuteronomy 1:41 through 46. And you'll have to read those on your own. I apologize. Early the next morning, they got up and went towards the ridge of the hill country. We have indeed sinned, they said, but we will go to the place the Lord has promised. But Moses said, why are you transgressing the commandment of the Lord? This will not succeed. Do not go up, lest you will be struck down by your enemies, because the Lord is not among you. For there the Amalekites and the Canaanites will face you, and you will fall by the sword, because you have turned away from the Lord. He will not be with you. But they dared go to the ridge of the hill country, though neither Moses nor the ark of the covenant of the Lord moved from the camp. Then the Amalekites and the Canaanites, who lived in that part of the hill country, came down, attacked them, and routed them all the way to Hormah. You know, this is so funny because I'm starting to notice a trend. So if you want to go ahead and read Deuteronomy 1:26 through 33, Deuteronomy 1:34 through 40, and Deuteronomy 1:41 through 46. We'll get there, but if you want to go ahead and you can mark those down with this video and read them to read up to on further information about this. We are not much different than this. People grumble. They claim to be Christians, but they are so self-righteous and they think that they deserve so much more. They don't humble themselves. They come looking for, Satan uses them to try and devour others. You have people that are called by God. They're coming up and they're trying to share the truth and share the righteousness of what's going on in the Lord's word. And they're attacked, looking for one small word that's out of place to be attacked by. Do it yourself. Get your own show. I don't know what to tell you. It's ridiculous. It is. And I can't imagine. 10 times God took it. And then he'd had enough. 10 seems to be a magic number for him. He gives you 10 chances. He had enough. Are you grumbling? Are you seeking the Lord? Are you trying to be the best version of God that you can be? Are you trying to be a righteous servant unto God? Are you humbling your heart every day? Or are you looking for somebody to have for dinner because you just have so much pent up desire to destroy other people in your heart? And I know this sounds harsh, but it's bad. It's bad. The last 2 days, I haven't really made videos because I've been mourning, humbling on my knees, crying to the Lord and mourning for our nation, for our people, for those that you have no idea what's coming, what the Lord has been sharing with me, begging for mercy over God's children. And then you get these people that are just try to just take you out. And it breaks my heart. It literally breaks my heart. And I'm praying for you. God is coming soon. Hard times are ahead. And for all those people that think that they are so self-righteous that they're going to not have to be taken through the fire to be refined and purified so that you can even enter into heaven, that you think that you should never have to suffer. But yet all the disciples suffered. They were beheaded, martyred, except for John. All of them. Look at Job. Look at what Job had to go through. These are righteous people of God. But you think you're better than them, that you shouldn't have to suffer? And you're going to come at somebody that tells you that persecution's coming? Whoa. It's time we read our Bibles. What about the Jews that were destroyed by Hitler? Put in the fiery furnace. And Daniel talks about it, the gas chambers. He shows you, he gives you examples of what God's chosen people are going to have to go through. He shows you. When the Antichrist comes on the scene, you think that you're going to be, Scotty, beam me up out of here? That you're so good that you're not going to have to choose? And I read this. Moses had to hold God back from wanting to destroy his children that he saved and spared because they were so puffed up with pride and narcissistic. We're in this time frame. We're in this time frame. And it's scary. It's scary. Lord, I pray for all of us that we think that we're better than others, that we look for a single word that somebody says to try and destroy that person. Whoa. I can't imagine what Yeshua went through. I can't imagine what he felt like. The crowd's coming after him. I feel this is just a teeny bit of what he went through. Spitting on him, an innocent man that came to share the truth. Spitting on him. Blaspheming him. Hating his guts for saying, turn from your wickedness and repent for unto God. Coming after him for that. This world is only getting ready. It's only getting started to ramp up into disgrace and terror. I pray you find God while he can be found. Because if he's not with you, and you won't even know it when his glory leaves you. He told me this morning in journalings, he's already turned so many over to a reprobate mind. And they don't even know he's gone. Because they're so full of their self. I pray that this word finds somebody. And it pricks the hearts of those that it's meant to. And I say this in Yeshua's name. Bye-bye.